Well, this week, the government finally represented the people when it just completely shut down. Honestly, didn't it feel like the government kind of needed a break? Just so we could all catch our breath? Can you believe we're only 9 months into this presidency? That means we still have 3 months and 7 years remaining. I already tried fighting. I'm tired. I went to so many protests this summer, but honestly, it was worth it because we finally got them to change the Cracker Barrel logo back to the original, featuring my...
Colin Jost didn't just roast Donald Trump. He vaporized him with the steady confidence of someone who spent years watching chaos insist it was competence. His hit wasn't loud or furious. It was methodical. A clean, controlled demolition. Just didn't go for easy swings or cheap shots. He peeled Trump apart, piece by piece.
Now on, our fighting men, and I guess women, are going to adhere to the highest male standard, which has been set by our president, Donald J. Trump. 6'6", $175, A-cups, perky, with a dump truck in the back you wouldn't...
Proving that when you shine enough light on the absurd, the truth becomes the sharpest joke in the room. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell icon. Trump's presidency, Jost joked, often played like an SNL sketch that accidentally won an election. Each morning felt like a fresh episode. Nobody asked to produce.
Scary for a lot of people right now, but I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm trying to remember the words of a great man.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
The last time the U.S. government shut down was during President Trump's first administration in 2018, which was so long ago, we look like...
He poked fun at how Trump turned 4 a.m. TV marathons and self-congratulatory tweets into something he called foreign policy. And the rest of the country. Jost said, "We woke up every day like exhausted roommates, discovering the aftermath of yet another all-night ego binge." Colin's humor hits harder because it's anchored in reality. He showed how Trump turned governing into a kind of performance art.
Insiders are saying that President Trump is trying to create tension between his potential successors, Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance, mostly by pointing at them and saying, "Kiss."
President Trump announced plans for a 100% tariff on movies made outside the U.S., which is no problem for me because all the movies I watched were filmed in a Florida condo on a leather couch.
Art, where applause mattered more than policy. 2 Trump press briefings weren't updates. They were open mic nights, light on facts and heavy on spotlight. Rift that under Trump facts became an endangered species, rarely seen, widely doubted, and treated like folklore. Confidence kept trying to stand in for competence. And the outcome looked exactly as messy as that swap sounds.
Israel and Hamas have tentatively agreed to President Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza, and you could tell Trump wrote the plan himself.
A Trump advisor said ICE agents will attend the Super Bowl after Bad Bunny was announced as the halftime performer. You know, to catch all those farm workers who can afford Super Bowl tickets.
Then, Jost went straight for Trump's favorite, illusion, his self-styled legend as a business mastermind. After all, no one can spin bankruptcy into brilliance. Quite like Donald Trump. Colin compared Trump's track record to a game of Jenga, where every missing block was labeled investor confidence.
Released this week, and if I were him, I would have just stayed there because it looked awesome. Trump arrived in Saudi Arabia where he was greeted with a lavender carpet which matched the color of his tie and also the length. They also rolled out a mobile McDonald's truck for President Trump's visit, featuring Saudi Arabia's most popular new burger, the McJourney.
The ultimate dealmaker, he joked. Managed to turn allies into rivals and diplomacy into primetime drama. Jost even cracked that Trump could bankrupt a game of Monopoly, because in Trump economics, even the dice would try to file a restraining order. Trump's fixation on image became Jost's next target. He skewered the president's preference
Well, America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses. I love that you can intentionally ruin the economy and still get to stay president. It's like if you drunk drove your car through the window of the DMV and they were like, license renewed. It's insane. This was the worst week for the stock market since the summer of 2020. But you have to remember, back then, the president was also Trump.
For flawless lighting over functional policy. Every photo op staged, and every grin practiced like he was starring in a show that simply refused to be cancelled. Colin painted Trump's public appearances as emotional wardrobe changes. New tone, same script, turning the presidency into the world's most exhausting rerun. Then came the foreign policy.
The Democratic National Committee protested President Trump's plans to accept a $400 million luxury jet from Qatar by flying a banner over Mar-a-Lago reading Qatar-a-Lago. It's the kind of hilarious stunt that makes you realize why the Democrats will never win again. Ethical experts are also warning that Trump may owe political favors to countries who give him lavish gifts. But based on the way he left the Middle East, I think I know how Trump is going to pay them back.
Wreckage. Just painted Trump's diplomacy as swaggering and uninformed, like a guy who treats geography as an optional elective. Every summit played out like a talent show where Trump assumed he was the headliner and everyone else was the audience. His negotiations, just joked, felt like painfully awkward first dates, too much bragging, too little listening.
President Trump even imposed tariffs on remote islands that are only inhabited by penguins. Well, then maybe penguins shouldn't keep pushing their gay agenda. This week, President Trump met with Kid Rock for what appears to be Drag Queen Story Hour. Kid Rock watched Trump sign an executive order on concert ticket fees and then returned to his regular job as a 4th of July.
And promises everyone regrets afterward. Key quipped that world peace under Trump sounded less like a plan and more like a real estate listing with suspiciously bad plumbing. Next came the economy, Trump's favorite trophy, polished daily, even as it began to fall apart. Just joked that Trump treated economic success like an inheritance.
Last night, President Trump posted an AI-generated image of himself as the Pope, apparently ordering a one-way ticket to hell. Who posts a photo of themselves dressed like a guy who died a week ago? Trump was at the Pope's funeral. That means he walked past an open casket and was like, oh, we should do a who wore it best.
Something he stumbled upon, not something he created. He compared Trump's strategy to juggling grenades. Impressive on the rare occasions it works. Catastrophic the moment it doesn't. And when it came to crisis management, just said, it was all PR. At the exact moment the world needed leadership, Trump went searching for ratings. Jost joked that watching...
This week, Donald Trump continued to announce everyone he's going to fire in 6 months. Trump nominated Kristi Noem to lead the Department of Homeland Security, Lee Zeldin to head the EPA, and Elise Stefanik as ambassador to the UN. And then someone yelled, now do a silly one. On Wednesday, Trump nominated Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, and Gaetz said the same thing he does when he sees a teenage girl, I'll do it.
Trump work a crowd is like watching a hype man peddle resentment. Every rally is the same rerun, just louder, longer, and even less connected to reality. Trump's Twitter addiction, he said, made him the first world leader to wield a phone like a geopolitical weapon. Each tweet blended self-congratulation with a dash of paranoia.
If the week Queen Elizabeth died, I posted this. I don't know, I just feel like as a Catholic, Trump's photo just feels slightly disrespectful. Also, if Trump really wants to be Pope, he should probably stay away from J.D. Vance.
President Trump responded to a report showing the U.S. economy was declining by posting, be patient. And if his brain gets any worse, he's gonna be patient.
Wake up checking whether they've been promoted to enemy of the day. Then came the cabinet chaos. Colin mocked the revolving door of advisors who disappeared like background characters in a doomed sequel. He said the Trump White House operated like an HR horror story, where loyalty meant staying quiet and survival depended entirely on reading the president's mood. Every resignation felt less like a departure and more like an exorcism.
President Trump tried to rescue the economy from the disastrous policies of whoever was president last week. On Wednesday, Trump announced he was pausing most tariffs for 90 days. Now, 90 days may not seem like a long time, but remember, Trump has only been president for 82 days, and it already feels like a goddamn decade.